Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. Had a little communications issue with my co-host. Should be on just a moment, though. Uno momento, por favor. Crazy fucking day we just see unfolding. What's up, Jeff? Sorry about that, guys. Just waiting on the champ. Accept the invite, champion. Accept the invite. You gotta accept that song, bitch, brother. Same as last time. What happened? Here, damn it. You're coming, dude. It's coming. What's up, man?
Your invites always come late, quite a ways after you start.
That's what she said.
Ah,
So let's give it a minute. Let's let some people
hey,
come in.
hey, no cussing. You got to be professional here, bud. Can you be a professional today? Here I
I
am
could be a professional.
trying to rein
I'm
you
pretty
in
pissed
all the
off though.
time.
He's a walking f bomb.
Hey, no,
I love it.
I know you're upset, but I think my point of view might change your upset mindset.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you're gonna say that'll whatever. Let's go. All right, Julian Assange arrested today. Basically, undercover cops walking into basically foreign soil, the Ecuadorian embassy in the UK, and drug journalist, publisher Julian Assange out and has him arrested in custody of the UK government and will be extradited to the US. Wow.
So,
Again, we've said this about Alex Jones and other tactics that the government uses. Remember, the precedent has been set. If you're cool with it happening to somebody you don't like, it's just a matter of time before the tactics are used by somebody on somebody you do like. Go ahead, Champ.
wasn't it you that was always saying that Trump taught Vince McMahon how to be Vince McMahon?
Yes.
So, look, it's one of several things going on here. Either it's the deep state doing this, which I I don't know if they have enough power anymore with the way the FBI and Department of Justice and everything else has been cleaned out. So that's probably can be ruled out, but it's a potential of a distraction after Bill Barr, you know, during testimony saying that there was absolutely spying on the Trump administration. That they're investigating that. First off, the new Department of Justice, the people within our boy out in Salt Lake City, I can't remember. Uh, he's been investigating the Clinton Foundation and a bunch of other stuff out there. Um, Gosh dang it, why am I forgetting his name? But anyway, all this stuff, all the facts on all of this spying and everything else, dude, it's already known. They already have all of it. They're just putting it all together. I mean, in terms of to prosecute people, right? That stuff's already known. So Bill Barr saying that there was spying and that they're investigating. This is a Trump tactic. Trump's smarter than people give him credit for, and the people he's got around him are smarter than hell. This is a tactic. Everything is a litmus test with Trump when he sends out a tweet and sends the left into a tizzy and turns them upside down to see who freaks out, right? He's doing it constantly. And the tactics that they have, when he called out John McCain, what was it, a week or two ago, in one of his tweets, that was to see who was going to freak out, right? So having
What's that
Barr
have to
say,
do with what's that have to do with Julian Assange being arrested?
you'll understand when I let me elaborate.
All right.
When Barr says yesterday, because they've already been investigating, anybody with one eye and half a brain knows that they've been investigating this stuff since Trump got into power. Yeah, Huber out in Utah. Thank you, Blake. That this was a litmus test to see who was going to freak out and see what the reaction was going to be. Was it, look, was it the deep state's reaction? There's going to be false flags coming. Was Julian Assange's arrest something to distract? Or is this the Trump administration knowing that this is part of the process that during discovery of this court case with Julian Assange, all the documents are going to come out. All of them are going to be proven. They're all going to be either proven or disproven. And you got to remember all the things that WikiLeaks exposed. WikiLeaks has never been proven to be incorrect in any of their emails that they've sent out, any of their documents, anything that nobody. There's no besides the conspiracy farm. There has been no media group that has ever been more correct than WikiLeaks on everything it's done.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that most likely in my mind, which should give you comfort, that this is the Trump administration. Assange knows what the process is going to be, that this is going to be a court case, that during discovery it's going to be glorious, that all of the deep state criminals are going to be exposed, and that this is just a way of sealing the deal on these scumbags. That's all it is, dude. He's not going to go to prison. He's going to get, dude, think of the
Well, I mean, even the most he was going to get was 5 years. They were going at him for 5 years, and the charge is colluding with Bradley or Chelsea Manning on breaking into a government computer.
This is most likely a bail jumping charge, right? Because the bullshit sexual assault charges were dropped in what was it, Sweden?
Yeah.
So those were dropped. So it's not even got anything to do with that. So all of this stuff,
right,
is at worst a bail jumping charge, but at least this goes to court, and all of this stuff comes out, all of this documentation. Now go through the list in your mind of the things that you can remember that WikiLeaks exposed, and what were the names of the people exposed.
I don't particularly recall instances because I didn't follow that close, but when you watch like those 2010 releases of what was that, Collateral Murder, with the helicopters blowing away the press guys, and then the guy pulls up in a minivan with his kids, and they blow that away, and just all the different stuff, the torture and all that stuff, all the people. That was primarily what I knew about. They exposed with the DNC. They exposed the Hillary Clinton $80 billion Saudi arms deal, and that basically they were just spreading that money to the terrorist groups, ISIL, etc. Yeah, I mean, so they've been on point. That's almost that's the scary part. I mean, we could discuss if it's as deep as you're saying it is, because it could be, but you also believe in Q, and we disagree on that. But the fact that they are essentially, for lack of a better term, criminalizing truth. I mean, regardless of what anybody thinks about Daniel Ellsberg and the Pentagon Papers, it was through that shit that helped end the Vietnam War, which we knew we should. Now we know we never should have been in the first place. Through those papers, we learned about the My Lai massacre and U.S. soldiers going through massacring villages in the city in My Lai back in the day. So this is, again, man, when he's unloading all this stuff about just blatant murder and torture of men, women, and children in the hundreds of thousands. These reports that they had that everybody had to basically sign off on. Here's what happened. Escalation of engagement or whatever, which is essentially just them just blowing people away. I think it's very important, obviously, that he did what he did. Otherwise, we'd just be getting that mainstream narrative of horseshit. As we know, when they control the narrative, they control how we perceive things. So this light really needed to be shined, and particularly on Iraq and Afghanistan, places we weren't supposed to fucking be in the first place. Right. If you want to talk about sovereignty and violation of sovereignty, that's a huge violation of not only their physical sovereignty as a land, but their physical sovereignty as human beings. So we can't
fast forward.
Sorry.
Fast forward into the documents that they exposed in terms of Uranium One, the Uranium One deal, the documents of Donna Brazile handing over the debate questions to Hillary Clinton's
DNC
camp.
Stuff, yeah.
The documentation of the DNC, the Clintons basically paying off the debt of the DNC, the massive amount of millions of dollars that the Obamas left the DNC in debt to, and the Clintons basically took over ownership of the DNC and controlled it. This is how they were able to steal the nomination from Bernie. Okay, that's just the beginning of it. Again, the Uranium One, they exposed the spying on Trump, right? They shed a bunch of documents on that. The 33,000 Hillary Clinton emails, a lot of that stuff they've dumped. I mean, they exposed Russia spying on the United States, right? They also they've also proven that Seth Rich was the leak, and it wasn't the Russians who hacked into the DNC server. This is where the Seth Rich murder gets solved. This is where people go to prison for it. This is where the Podesta.
Well, no, that would be very, very interesting, Champ. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, if
That's
this was
not
kind
a
of
rabbit hole, dude.
no, I'm just saying, no. Listen. Let
area.
me. If for Trump's move to get Assange in U.S. custody, still under the guise of we're still charging him with whatever, but he's just getting him in custody to then fully start divulging of the stuff Barr said he was going to look into. You know, like I said, Obama investigate or spying on Trump. So that would be an interesting, very interesting move if that's the case. But we'll see. We'll see. What pisses me off again is this precedent gets set about criminalizing what we do, quote unquote journalism. We can't, as the alternative news, I mean, we know how much those other sides lie to us. And we're not always right, but we're bringing up a lot of stuff that just doesn't get talked about. And so it would really suck. And that's what I'm saying, whether you like Alex Jones or not, if you're okay with an individual being deplatformized because you don't like what he's saying, that is a very slippery slope. So all things being equal, even if Assange is if they're just pinching him because he kind of got egg on their face over the last several years, divulging a lot of stuff, that's problematic, man. He's a publisher. He's a journalist. That's what journalists do. They get sources, they have sources that they get information from. So to criminalize that and make that illegal, that's just as bad as our conversation about vaccine and the government forcing medical procedures on people.
Right. Well, I just think in that is huge what you're saying. But in my mind, the bigger picture is that Assange is the last piece of the puzzle to the investigation that has been ongoing, to the spying, the treason, the sedition, and all the other stuff that's gone on. They've already got those people dead to rights, dude. They've got the documents. They've got all the intel. They've got all that stuff. Those people know they're in deep shit. The people from they just are. So, and we also know that Assange is smart enough to have a dead man switch if anything were to happen to him.
I was thinking that too, and we said that this morning. But wait for a big data dump, everybody, because he has a few dead man switches.
It's just, I think that you see, the left now is freaking out, saying that the Trump administration is arresting, Julian Assange and all this stuff. They have no clue. They haven't even, it hasn't even crossed their mind the stuff that we're discussing, right?
Right.
That none of this.
Well, again, it depends on how they're right. It depends on how they're reading it, man. If they're reading it like you and I are, or just like you said, it's more of a 4D chess move, or like I said, the deep state, if you will, has egg on their face because, he put on blast 190,000 different reports of basically indiscriminate murder that went down, man, of men, women, and children in Iraq and Afghanistan. And when you watch that collateral murder video, it just, and you have that contingent, Champ, excuse me, guys, that, fuck them, they're goat fuckers, glass parking lot, and blah, blah, blah. And they just get this larger picture of what you and I are talking about when I always say, hey, patriots, man, sovereignty is sovereignty. It's only our sovereignty worth protecting, you know what I mean? An incursion on anybody, a threat to freedom anywhere is a threat to freedom everywhere type shit. So we can't be selective about how we start applying, human rights. Who are these guys not afforded human rights because they speak a different language and have a different religion than you? That's what I'm saying. When you see these tapes of the collateral murder and the just indiscriminate shit, nobody went to jail for that. Like, nobody got pinched for that. And it was just happening all the time in an illegal war that we knew we weren't supposed to be in. Iraq had nothing fucking do with 9/11. And then to find out Hillary Clinton's State Department brokered an $80 billion weapons deal to basically give to Qatar, to give to Saudi Arabia, to ISIS, and it's insane, dude.
Can you name a legally justified war?
I haven't, honestly, in modern times.
Besides the American Revolution.
No, not really. Not that had some kind of contriving. Even the Civil War, you had the Russia support in the north, and you had the UK support in the south, wanting to break the country up. So the South Spanish American War. No, it's basically Mexican War. You name it. The books have been cooked on almost all of them.
Right.
We talked about World War I, dude, when the Milner Group, 5 or 6 guys, engineered a war over the course of 5 or 6 years that killed 20 million people, dude.
Right.
All contrived, all horseshit.
Christian Stevens says World War II. No. Hitler was funded. Hitler was backed by the journalists. Hitler was, I don't know, man.
It's backed by,
I
you
get
know,
it.
Union
He had
Bank,
to be
dude. Prescott
exterminated,
Bush,
but-
George Bush's grandfather went to, or, you know, got basically arrested and kicked out of Union Bank for violating the Foreign Dealing with Foreign Enemies Act. As a part of the
Ultimately, though,
pursuit of,
now think about this, Assange. You know,
we've digressed.
with my viewpoints of Assange being brought back so that the court case will have a discovery process that will expose all the deep state players and the spying and put the final pieces of the puzzle together. But it's also, I think, I mean, it's double. It's more than just that single angle. I mean, he's got to be under protection when indictments start to fall, dude.
Yeah, and there was this component of the $4 billion deals that they were supposedly getting from the IMF in exchange for giving up Assange to. I'd heard that as well. And that he had dirt on the president. I forget the president's name of Ecuador, but he supposedly had some dirt on his stuff too. So he didn't really have too many friends.
Dude,
He was living pretty.
Who doesn't Assange have dirt on?
I know, right?
You know, what's interesting is that
well, that gets into the conversation of data collecting and information and how they are watching every damn body.
Heidi Westby says after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, but Heidi, you forget the economic sanctions that were crushing Japan that we imposed upon them. It was almost I mean, when you think about it, you know, this was for their survival. They were fighting for their survival. So I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying blowing up Pearl
some of the
Harbor
Navy
was justified,
heads,
but at least
and some of them knew about it. They knew it was coming.
Right. Yeah, it was not divulged to us by the English government. The English knew it was coming. Yeah, they wanted us in the war. They needed us in the war. So
war is a racket. Smedley Butler, dude. This goes back almost 100 years now, and it's always been a racket. But you got your highest decorated military guys saying, "You guys, war is a freaking racket." I mean, look at all these wars. No bid contract, Halliburton, KBR. I mean, just look at how crazy this is. How long? And that's the other question, man. How long are we going to keep allowing our kids to go die for this bullshit? They utilize and they use and weaponize their love for their country, and then they send them off to, you know, fight these fucking wars. Sorry, Champ. Fight these wars for foreign bankers, et cetera, et cetera. That has nothing to do with spreading democracy, et cetera. Go watch Collateral Murder and tell me what the hell that has to do with spreading democracy. It's a freaking joke, dude. It's gross and it's sick and it's criminal, dude. It's demonic, in my opinion. It's freaking demonic.
Shifting gears, Charles Knapp. Good point, Charles. That's everything I'm saying is now WikiLeaks can all of its documents can now be introduced as evidence. It's opening Pandora's box, and this is what educates all the people that have no idea about all this stuff going on that we've been talking about for over 3 years.
This reminds me of the Dr. Sebi thing. The Dr. Sebi thing. That's why he laughed when he went to jail and had to go to court. He's like, "Oh, you guys done messed up now because now everybody's about to hear it." So that's a very interesting component, Champ. I'll be anxious to see, you know, everyone saying, you know, is he on a suicide watch or something? Because we'll see how this plays out.
Now, let's take this a little bit further. Remember when you talk about you make fun of me for believing in Q. I don't necessarily believe in everything Q.
You know I'm giving you shit.
Of course, but
I got you. I mean, it's all good to entertain these things.
I do remember early on, and I said, that's it. That's exactly right. Because it even says, if you look at Mueller's WikiLeaks page, anybody that's listening to this can go look at the WikiLeaks page for Mueller. And it talks specifically about Mueller visiting Trump Tower, having a meeting with Trump, and Trump basically, and Mueller saying, you know, we just don't agree on, you know, our mentality in terms of
breaking news, Champ. Breaking news. Obama White House counsel indicted.
I know. That's what I was getting to. That's exactly what I was talking to. This is where I was going with that. Okay.
I'm sorry, I just saw it on my screen.
God, you're always ruining my. You know, can I do my thing?
It just popped up on my screen, dude. I'm sorry.
So my point is, you know, Mueller goes in. This is at the very beginning, man, when Trump hadn't even gotten into the White House, and Trump is sitting in Trump Tower, and a lot of people believe that Mattis was in there with him, right? And Mueller being a Marine also, Mattis in there in the office, and basically Bannon and Dr. Gorka steered and put Mueller in front of Trump. They steered him that way because Mueller had been
he's deep state for sure.
Mueller had been compromised and had to do what basically they their bidding, you know, the uranium delivery and Russia, all that sort of bullshit. So anyway, Mueller goes in, then the press conference afterward, the talk, Mueller, no, I'm not going to be the head of the FBI. Trump and I don't see eye to eye on that. Then the very next day, Rosenstein hires him as the lead investigator on Russian collusion and Trump. If people couldn't put two and two together back then, that Trump hired Mueller position and put Mueller in that position to investigate, and I guarantee it, Trump knew he was clean. Any of this type of stuff, right? So now what I'm saying is that the lead counsel for the Obama administration, the White House, Obama's White House administration, is now being brought up on charges, and it directly ties in the article in the New York Times, Washington Post, all of it, directly ties it to the Mueller investigation. Okay, so
Loretta
don't tell
Lynch
me.
and
Now you have to say, when I was saying 3 years ago that Mueller was brought on by Trump's administration and by Donald Trump specifically to be that person that is going to investigate the corruption of the deep state and bring down the deep state. This is the ultimate kick to the balls, because the whole time they've been sitting there thinking that Mueller was investigating Trump when that wasn't the case. And they go, yeah, but all the people from the Trump administration that have gone to jail for process crimes. Manafort was charged with crimes when he was working with the Podesta brothers on Russian banking lobbying.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that every time a liberal goes off about all these people that have been charged, they don't know what they're talking about. It ultimately, the people that get brought down, that's all for optics. That's all for optics. People are not putting things together.
Right. We had that conversation. I was like, man, because Trump was having some bad PR.
Now question me on Q. Because the shitty said 3 years ago is actually happening.
I'm with it, but I'm still not seeing no high-level perp walks. I'm still not seeing some treasonous, seditious trials in Gitmo, like many have said. But again, it's taking time.
You got to sit back and look at the Assange stuff, listen to Barr's testimony, see the lead counsel, White House counsel for the Obama administration getting brought down. If you can't put those pieces together, observe, take a little higher 1,000-foot view of the landscape, right, and say to yourself, now I get the picture. It's all coming into focus.
We shall see. It's looking very interesting. And this move, in coincidence with Barr saying he's going to investigate the Obama administration yesterday or 2 days ago, and then Assange gets pinched, knowing, like you said, how integral he was or is to this whole conversation on Russian collusion, because that's when that narrative started. When Seth Rich got into those DNC things in May 2016, that's when CrowdStrike was brought in to essentially start the whole Russian narrative, Perkins Coie, et cetera, G4, what was it? Not G4S, Fusion GPS. So yeah, it's very, very plausible, man. Very, very plausible. But again, like I'm saying,
are you feeling better? I'm
feeling a little bit better. But again, I was just going to say they need to eventually make this narrative right, because you can't be saying, doing journalism is illegal just because they divulge shit that they don't want divulged. I mean, I get their secrets of state, et cetera, but when people are over committing war crimes in a place we shouldn't even be in, that we know is an illegal war now, I mean, Champ, look at what they say to us when they justify going into other countries. The tyrannical government kills their own people.
But while you're going off about that, the people that are about to be prosecuted are the ones responsible for that shit, besides McCain, who's dead now. Right.
Right. No, I agree.
So that's all. I don't even think about that stuff right now. I'm thinking about what's going on right now and the process of how they're getting to these people and how they're setting it all up. I'm telling you, man.
No, I'm with you. I'm literally fusing it through the Obama. Breitbart, Andrew Breitbart dying. As a journalist, his coroner dying. Alex Jones being deplatformed. All these holistic doctors dying. I just fuse it through that, man. These threats to the state, if you will.
And
The
all the people
military,
out there,
industrial, telecommunications, pharmaceutical machine.
all the people out there who are late to the party, man, go listen to Andrew Breitbart's videos and speeches and everything, man. He was such a patriot and such a leader in this movement. I mean, that guy, every American should have a picture of Andrew Breitbart in their freaking office or in their living room and have it well lit and honor that dude, because he was truly one of the original truth seekers, man.
Big Soros, big Podesta. There's a video of him going up to somebody who had a recording device, and he's like, "What's going on in your dark closet, Big Soros, big Podesta?
What's in your closet?
Yeah, what's in your
Podesta?
closet? Yeah. It was kind of bizarre, but yeah,
he was one of the first to expose the Podestas and these people for being pedophiles.
And then he dies suspiciously, and then his coroner dies. Like that, come on, man. And then who's the other guy? Hastings, Michael Hastings, another journalist who was getting too close to some fire and got killed. So, I mean, the precedent's been set. So, I mean, I hope it is a larger 4D chess move going on, because, it's dangerous waters when you start silencing the media, man. We know how ubiquitous the Mockingbird media is, who control the narrative and then thusly control how we perceive what's going on in the world. You and I and shows like us and alternative news, like, they can't come for us like that, dude. They can't come for us like that.
Now
they are, but it's yeah.
Interesting. Hey, good thing Anthony Bethel said, "First time watching, buddy, makes me want to go back and see what I've been missing for the last few years." Dude, Anthony, go back and listen to our first podcast and go from there, and you'll hear us talking about all of this stuff that long ago. Everything we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because episode 1 we did kind of set the template. Yeah.
And we weren't afraid to say it.
No, it was gonna be. I mean, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I'm anybody can tell us listening to the show. I'm a pretty no holds barred.
Imagine none of this would be happening had she won.
True that.
Think of that. Think how bad things would be right now for us and for people who really were seeking the truth. We'd all be shut down.
Yeah, for real.
Everyone.
That's. Is Kissinger the puppet? I can't even really. Let's check some comments. See what we got popping in the comment room. What would it take for the Q clan to become skeptical? Says my man Tides Gall.
I just quoted you on when Q talked about Mueller being brought to Trump. I mean, from the very beginning. This was, I think, from the very beginning of Trump being in the White House. Q's been sending out messages. I mean, I have not been on the same page with Q at all the whole way. I mean, a lot of things I just didn't agree with. I think a lot of it was misdirection. I think Q was that page was hacked into several times, and a lot of misdirection was put out, and a lot of other things. But then our friends at Grimerica brought up something really interesting of who they think Q is.
That's right. We got to get into that. I've actually.
We need to get him on. We need to get that person on the show.
When we had George Webb and Jason Goodman on back in the day, they were having a little beef with Ken.com and worrying about his veracity back then. So
almost justifies or legitimizes it, right?
Well, you never know. It's like I'm saying, this crazy interweb world now of news, and you just never know what to believe anymore, man. Everybody's.
Well, I believe
find
my
good
gut.
sources.
My gut hasn't steered me wrong yet, man.
you and your gut.
We got to believe in our gut. Our gut instincts don't steer us wrong, man.
Yeah, I feel you. I was very troubled seeing things. I mean, if how you're saying is playing out that way, that would be awesome. Like I said, even if Q was right, I would love to see these perp walks. The level of despicable, pit-sucking, freaking evil that these people are engaging in on so many different levels needs to end, man. Needs to seriously end, and there needs to be some serious accountability.
Christian Stevens saying, after the McCain 30-day 428 prediction, I was 100%. Interesting.
That was pretty much when we had that conversation about McCain was gonna, We got that info from, I think, George Webb.
That was I mean, that was quite a while before McCain passed away.
I know, but that's what they were saying. He said he's going to take it.
That was long before actually McCain announced he was sick.
I know. That's what he said, dude. They said he's going to take a leave of absence. He's going to come back and have something really bad, and he's just going to disappear and possibly die. That's when I did that video, and it was like went 24,000 views, like just in a. I was just thinking about that the other day, but yeah. Yeah, I was just a little worried when I saw that this morning, dude, because, you know.
Christian Stevens, 30 days, hands up.
30 days?
Hands up.
What you talking about, Willis?
Elaborate, Christian.
So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Very interesting that the Obama, some of the legal counsel was indicted today. Barr just said yesterday they're about to start looking into those guys.
Well, thank you.
So, but I mean, again, what do you?
Go ahead.
You just sounded all robotic. I didn't hear what you said. That you sounded all robotic. What do you? Even if this plays out, that there was spying, do you think the other side is still going to be like, nope, I don't believe it? I mean, similar with the collusion narrative, there's just no way they'll ever admit that they engaged. It's basically like a coup, like Trump said. They engaged in basically a soft coup or even a hard coup. Shit, they weaponized the Justice Department, the FBI, to engage in a coup to take out.
Yeah, it was
a bloodless coup. Yeah.
It was a bloodless coup, without a doubt. I mean, I've been saying that all along, and people have been calling me a lunatic for it, but that's exactly what it was. They were doing everything they could in their power to destroy him. And when he won, then they had to go into scramble mode, dude. They went into high gear scramble mode. I mean, the Russian narrative really went into nuclear mode, man.
Which is so crazy because everybody knows about that term gaslighting in intelligence terms. You accuse your enemy, what you're doing yourself. Like they literally, like I said, last May when they found out, or May 2016 when they found out their files had been hacked, they started that narrative while knowing the whole time John Podesta and Tony Podesta were doing, huge deals in Russia, the Uranium One deal. Like they knew they were working with the Russians, and they created a narrative that Trump was, like Putin was Trump's bitch and shit. Like it's crazy.
Right. They tried to go out on a limb. I remember, even though Bill Clinton had given a speech for $500,000 in Russia, Trump gave a business. It was like a business Q&A to Russian business leaders like he answered a few questions or whatever. I don't know what they paid him. They paid him pretty good to answer a few questions, and it was like a 10-minute Skype call or something. And that was basically the extent of Trump's connection.
Breaking up, dude. You're breaking up pretty gnarly.
That was the extent of Trump's Russian collusion. Can you hear me?
But we didn't catch most of that.
Well, I apologize.
Pat's out there in the out there's. Yeah, for sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, good. So anyway,
can you hear me?
This whole thing, dude. The whole thing of this period of 3 years, over 3 years that we've been talking about this stuff, and the media has been talking about the exact opposite. Everybody should have, been able to surmise. If there's people out there still that believe the mainstream media narratives, I can't help you, man. If it's been 3 years now, we've been telling you, and long before that. That's the whole reason we started this show, because I've been, dude, as a 20-something-year-old man, I was always questioning the media, and then as I went further into adulthood, it's not that tough to figure out you're being bullshitted, right? That's why the Conspiracy Farm even started, because you and I had enough of the bullshit and said, we're going to go ahead and start spreading the truth that as we see it. And
well, for me as a kid being 16 and then getting really into the JFK thing, realizing, whoa, they can blow the president away under dubious circumstances. It was all Thunderdome after that. Like everything else was like, of course they'd lie about that. They lied about blowing the president's head off next to his wife in broad daylight. It all became kind of possible, plausible.
Yes, Heidi, it will be available to share. Thank you for your question.
You can't share it right now?
This process of what we've seen of all these people getting busted for human trafficking, the stuff with the college admissions bullshit. We got storms here. That's the problem. But this is all, you know, with what Barr's testimony was, that's acknowledging that there was spying. All of this stuff is just a slow bleed to educate the public and desensitize them to what's coming. That's all this is. You and I have gotten impatient. You and I have gotten impatient many times in the process, right? And said, why aren't they snatching these people up? But when you sit back and you think about it, they couldn't snatch them up because there would be lunacy in the streets because people wouldn't understand why it was happening.
Without a doubt. Well, and the information's crucial. So I mean, for me personally, I'm never trying to do, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just speaking for myself. It's not about necessarily being right or taking victory laps or I told you. It's just about exchanging ideas and having more information than just the mainstream media, because unfortunately we have been proven right on so many of these things, and we're talking about things oftentimes that just aren't covered adequately. So, excuse me, you can't change anything unless you recognize it's a problem, right? Like anything else. So at least at least chewing on this other kind of information, you can like start asking questions at least, and don't ever take our word for it. Figure it out for yourself. Go look up what Operation Northwood is and realize your government did plan to engage in terrorist attack on its own people. It happened.
Right. Read Israel Carroll's, James Carroll's comment out loud.
I can't find it. Where is it?
It's right on the bottom. It's on the bottom of the page.
I got it. What happens to Comey, McCabe, Brennan, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Clapper, Strzok, and Page? What is Bill Barr's next move? He's a George Washington law grad with a record of integrity, and he's chief law enforcement officer in the U.S. And he was confirmed, both sides unanimously. So, I mean, it's like, hopefully they don't trip out when he says shit they don't like.
Well, so what happens to Comey, McCabe, Brennan, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Clapper, Strzok, and Page, among others? I think Page has already sealed her deal, and she's got a pass for spilling the beans on everybody else.
Again, very interesting timing though, because if you look up when she said that to right now and all this stuff happening, that's that snowball effect. I mean, it's been happening slowly but surely, but Lisa Page coming out admitting what the Obama administration did and how they spied on Trump, et cetera, and created the Russian narrative. That's a pretty big flip up from the other side saying, what we already knew about. So that's pretty hardcore, man.
I think I'll bet you Brennan's in deep shit.
Dude, they all are. I mean, if they get deep into it,
fry, dude. Brennan is going to fry.
Well, I mean, there's always plausible deniability, but this goes right back to Barack Obama, dude. It's not like all this shit happened without his knowledge.
2 weeks and 2 weeks before Mueller released his findings, Brennan was on CNN and MSNBC and everywhere else saying that he expects a lot more big indictments to fall, that there will be proof of Russian collusion, all kinds of stuff. He was laying it on thick. And then, okay, this guy Brennan, the top dog in intelligence in the United States, after Mueller comes out with no findings of collusion, Brennan on camera says, I must have gotten bad information.
I know. Is that insane, dude?
And if there's anybody out there in America who sits there and takes that and believes it, I don't even know what to do for those people.
Dude. It's either you laugh or you cry, because he literally said that with a straight face after 2 years of all of this nonsense.
3 years.
2.5. Yeah. And then you got Roger Maddow up there bawling. Her viewership just plummets.
Maddow, oh boy. Clinton, Bobby Farland says Clinton gets off, people mysteriously die. Oh, bodies are going to start falling, Bobby. You are correct.
Again, look at the timing. Allison Mack just pled guilty to her. I mean, a lot of interesting timing on all of this, man. The Felicity Huffman stuff.
They're singing human trafficking. It's getting ugly, buddy. People are going down. It's all getting tied together. You can see it all funneling into one spot. What did you just send me today?
What did you just send me today about the Vikings co-owner? Something about NCAA sting that broke up?
Yeah, the final four. There was 58 people arrested for human trafficking charges, and the Vikings, one of the Vikings co-owners, was potentially tied to that arrest, and then they just found he and his wife dead from a murder-suicide.
Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear what my man just said? Wow.
Rachel, I'm not sure what book. I'm not sure what book Assange was holding. Rachel, I'd like to know.
Oh, it was Gore Vidal, some Gore Vidal book, something about national security. Gore Vidal's the man, dude. Yeah, Brennan, dude. Brennan's hands are dirty, dude. Brennan literally signed 12 of the 9/11 terrorist immigration papers after immigration refused, while Mueller ran the FBI. Yeah, this dirt goes back, dude, to 9/11, even before 9/11. But yeah, 9/11.
A lot of people going down, man. This is going to be a glorious time in this country's history. And look, the beautiful thing about it is we're alive. We get to watch it all happen.
For the time being, of course. And again, the disclaimer, I love my life. I will never kill myself. I'll never rape anybody. I do not like children. I'm not attracted to children. I love beautiful, beautiful women. And that's my disclaimer, dude. Whoa, you broke up there.
What'd
you say you broke up?
I would do my best Porky the Pig, right? Grown with girls.
Who was that?
Porky the Pig.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Bleed. Ibity.
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
So I mean, because people just wind up dead sometimes, and
everybody's going to prep jail.
Oh my God, it's a shirt. Everyone says shirt. Pat's on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. This is a t-shirt machine right now. Look out, stores near you.
I think we definitely need Conspiracy Farm free Julian Assange shirts with his picture on the back. Free Assange.
For sure. But we'll see. Maybe this is all part of the plan. Maybe he won't need freeing. Because, I mean, Obama freed Chelsea Manning got 35 years and only did like 5 or 6, and Obama pardoned him.
How dare you accidentally say Bradley?
I forget his name. I can't keep up with that shit, dude.
Did you say he? How dare you?
I can't keep up with that shit.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I'm
so
insensitive. I know. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I can't keep up on his gender,
Charles Knapp will say Obama will claim Kenyan citizenship to avoid the death penalty.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Well, hey, look, it's nothing would surprise me anymore, dude.
The plot just super, super thickened today, and hearing your hypothesis makes it even more interesting. And again, considering all these other Allison Mack, the NCAA stuff, like things are all kind of coalescing around, some of these illegalities that we've been speaking on for some time.
Well, you would think people who are high-profile individuals who have been partaking in human trafficking, after Trump gets in and makes a public statement and says MS-13 is going down, human traffickers are going down, pedophiles are going down, pedophiles and human traffickers should get the death penalty. I mean, he made it a very public, he spoke about it often during press conferences and stuff. You would think that those morons would go, yeah, maybe we should back off on the 13-year-olds for a while, huh?
Maybe we should pump the brakes a bit.
Yeah, it's Hassani Woods. What's up? What's up, Hassani?
Hey, Jeff, what's your guest name? I want you to connect with him. Smart, brave man. Just like, Heidi, what the fuck? You don't know? Are you joking?
No, look, Heidi doesn't understand that most people on Twitter, when I make a point or start to win a debate with them, say that I suffer from CTE and obviously need help.
I do say he's been punched in the head. Why would I take medical advice from him? Like, well, you need to
That's like today. A guy goes, "You've obviously when I made a point about when I took the poll about the vaccines, how many vaccines have been tested for autism or autistic signs." that's when, the poll was 72, 30, or 3. How many of them have been tested for autism? And basically one of the guys comes out, and that poll was taken off like wildfire. I think they might have shadow banned it after a while because it was taken off hard. But some guy goes, Milicic is obviously suffering from CTE, and I said, or maybe, and he also said maybe I should take advice from medical doctors instead of someone suffering from CTE. And I said,
right.
Or you could watch this debate between two very educated and civilized human beings to learn about the subject. Even someone with CTE can follow along. You should be able to too. And then I went ... maybe. Maybe.
You like fucking with those people. My dude, Taj Gall, he punched in earlier too. Qualify what you said, Taj. He said Bill Barr, deep state fixer. Yeah, that makes sense. Or you know what I mean? Explain that if you don't mind, Taj. How is Bill Barr? What's his affiliation with the deep state, et cetera, if you don't mind, sir?
Yeah.
Because he had posted something about that earlier on. Taj is a real smart dude.
He's got a past.
Who?
Barr is what he's saying.
Or he's, a part of the swamp.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing.
So is like Mueller, is he put into position? Is he put in a position for his compromise, or for being compromised? Like we said on the show, you don't get to certain positions unless they have some on you. They can't have no freewheeling dealing.
But here's the thing. Mueller, if the left thinks Mueller was brought in to investigate Trump, after 3 years of investigating, why do you think he didn't come up with anything, you idiots? Do you think, something that elaborate, don't you think, after $30 million spent, 500 warrants, 500 witnesses, don't you think that they could have fabricated something to say that there was Russian collusion? They're smart enough to do that.
Something.
He was not brought in by the left. He was brought in by Trump and his people. This is the Vince McMahon. This is the
it's ultimate. A work. It could be.
It could be. Dude. I'm telling you. That's the thing.
That would be insane, bro. That would be absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's going to be, you mean?
Again, I'm up for all. Hey, Taj, again, how was Bill Barr deep state?
On a side note, my good friend, UFC. Listen, Ernest Henry said, on a side note, my good friend and UFC tough vet, Loden Sinclair was found dead a few days ago. He loved the show. How did Loden pass away, dude?
Do you know who that is?
Sucks. Yeah, I know who it is. He was a great kid, man. That's terrible.
That is terrible.
Maybe
Wait to see what Taj's explanation is on that.
Mueller's kid is a junior attorney with Southern District of New York. Just saying, it's right in front of you. Interesting.
It is interesting. It is. You just never know. You never know what the hell's really going on, man.
Albert, that's what we're saying, buddy. The Assange arrest is related to connecting it against certain persons being investigated. That's exactly what I'm saying. He had his demons. They won. Fuck. Sorry to hear that. It's awful.
What's up, Samantha?
Shelly Shaner just Googled what? Shelly, you can't say I just Googled and then nothing. Help me out.
I just Googled and nothing. What, Googled Bill Barr? I want to hear from my very smart, intelligent, well-informed friend Taj Gall on why Bill Barr is a deep state fixer. So does that mean the deep state's going to get the last laugh, or does that mean Trump's really deep state? What are you saying? Oh, there's Taj. What does he say? Oh, where's it at?
Yeah, good point, James. Yeah, those are the numbers, man.
Fuck, why am I seeing that again?
Sorry to hear that, Ernest. Yeah, he was a good guy, man. That sucks to hear. So in recounting all this stuff, the arrest of Julian Assange, in my mind, is for a specific purpose. Because, I mean, I think even, who was it? Judge Napolitano said something about bail violation, and that bail jumping is all I can come up with. But you know, the sexual assault charges don't exist anymore against him. They were dropped because they were unsubstantiated and garbage. It was just
Well, and that was Sweden too, right?
yeah, something they threw out there to try and bring him down, discredit him. But the documents from the WikiLeaks have exposed, I mean, massive pedophilia, human trafficking, the Seth Rich murder. That Seth Rich was the Russian infiltration into the DNC server, spying on Trump. Also, what else? What else was exposed? The Uranium One deal.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Donna Brazil throwing out the debate questions. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and connected a lot of media people into all of this stuff. There's a lot of people with a lot to lose when all the truth comes out. That's all there is to it. And you know what? And you know what I think? I think that you look great for network news. I'll look great as soon as I shave. I'll put on a suit. They can hire us because we're the ones that have been bringing the truth. So, you know, look.
Network news. Yeah, that's what they want. That's what they want, is us on network news.
Well, eventually they're not going to have any problems because nobody's going to listen to them. We're going to bring back ratings.
Well, that's the whole point, Champ. Instead of jumping in their lane, we are creating our own lane. We don't, with the world of internet, like we talked with Eric Bishop, you don't need TV deals anymore. You don't need record deals. All you need is a loyal following and streaming like this.
Well, but here's the thing. The beautiful
TV
thing
would just shut us down. Episode 1, they'd be like,
I think that people are going to freak out, and anybody out there who hears this, who has a legitimate kick-ass podcast, can contact us, because we're putting together a network, a media company based on podcasts that bring the truth, you know, in numerous different areas of interest. I mean, one is obviously, you know, the stuff that we talk about, the conspiracies and the truth and a lot of that stuff, but health and wellness, survival podcasts, you know, a lot of different stuff that people are really interested in listening to. So we're putting that stuff together. People can contact us, and it's not going to be just digital form. It's not going to be just on the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, and all that stuff. It's going out over the airwaves, and it's going to be gigantic, and people are going to lose their minds, because this is the truth that everyone's been waiting for to truly hit in the mainstream, and people everywhere are going to be exposed to it. And that's a big deal.
That's the whole. And Pat has let the cat out of the bag. We absolutely are building going to be a media empire, ladies and gentlemen. Because the old way of people getting news is, I mean, it's old. It's play out. Nobody's, you know, the CNN, all these cable news networks ratings are absolutely dropping, and new alternative ways of getting news and alternative media like ours is absolutely growing exponentially. That's why we were able to do this deal with this guy who owns all these radio stations. So absolutely, if you guys are aware of people who are not
Blake,
too
Blake
huge.
Just said, Blake, send us a message, buddy. Send Jeff and I a message on that. We'll have a conference call with you and talk about that. Joni, I wrote your name down on the list. I absolutely did. So you have a great health show, health and wellness, educating people on stuff. So there's a lot of very cool material we're going to be bringing to people.
And no fly by night. I mean, we have been putting in hella work. You've got to have the passion to want to do this and to be on our network. We are not taking any flim flams or anybody who's not really, really passionate about the show and really willing to put into work.
Yeah,
to make not just their show, but the whole network. The whole network, right? All rising tide raises all ships. That's what we're about here.
You know, the thing is that as this progresses, I'm actually going to have to take my hat off, comb my hair, and look professional.
Me too. Gotta comb them naps.
Dude, you know what? I wonder if we can get you a Rogaine sponsorship.
I don't want to fucking this motherfucker. I'm good.
You know, if you could have a full head of hair back, you know you'd do it. You get the Jerry curl going? You get the Jerry curl going?
Hell no. Even back then, dude, my hairline started at the back of my freaking neck, so it's like I always had a big ass forehead. That's why
It
it's
was
like
way back.
I'm lucky I got a nice shaped head.
Well, they can transplant some pubes on your forehead.
Fuck, I look like somebody stapled some ant legs on my head. I'm good.
Ant legs. That's scary.
John Militich, dude, I had the wickedest fro, dude. I had that old Frederick Douglass shit. My dad used to put a nice part right there, dude. I had a nice symmetrical fro with a nice part right there. Pops used to lay that shit down, boy. No show yet, but I have been preaching this for years. But yeah, like I said, any amount of any genre, we're not looking for just specifically what we do, but we do want to find shows that are kind of doing what we're doing in our lane. But good sports shows we're willing to talk about. Like, cause there's 10 trillion out there. We don't need really any more of those. But we're willing to discuss. Like I said, you got to have the passion, you got to have the heart.
It's got to be a sports.
Awesome.
It's got to be a sports conspiracy show.
There you go. Or like
People,
like the sports, like the Man Show or something.
People who go in depth into the Pete Rose gambling situation,
or how the NBA's fixed. That one NBA referee that got pinched for shaving points or whatever it is. He was like, dude, we could make as much money as we want, as many of these side bets there are, and have shaving points. I mean, I think it happens more than we think.
No, a good sports show. Got to be entertaining, though. Obviously, I think
Tom's toupee of Dayton. For shits and giggles, I would actually do a commercial. I mean, I was obviously not wear it, but I'd let him throw something on me and be like, "Ooh, look at Jeff all fly now with his big head of plastic hair, looking like Devo."
It's got you need like the hairdo from Pedro, the vote for Pedro kid on Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the contest. If you want to see Jeffrey with a new hairstyle, you punch that in and let us know.
Find us a sponsor.
What cool beans, man.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Anyway, lots of stuff happening, man. And as far as how will Rubio, Graham, and Rand Paul and other Republican senators react to Assange and the spying on the Trump campaign with 2020 getting closer and closer. Thanks for the video, brother. Have a blessed day.
Sweet.
Well, I mean, Lindsey Graham has already freaked out about a lot of this stuff. Rand Paul, we know how he feels. Rubio, I'm not sure what camp Rubio is even in anymore. It's been a while. His Gang of Eight stunt many years ago was pretty telling. I had a good talk with Rubio actually here in Bettendorf when he was in town. We talked quite a bit. Very intelligent guy, but I'm not convinced on where his allegiances lie. And I don't know, man.
Me down in Florida, dude. That's Debbie Wasserman. Florida's always been pretty shady, but we wish for the best in our leaders, but all too often they let us down. To err is human.
All right. So anyway, you should be feeling better by now that cool. Julian Assange's court case is going to document all the stuff that he has exposed, and
you've given me something to think about. You've given me something to think.
It would all be brought to light. The American public will learn about it slowly and be conditioned to the fact that the previous administration was full of criminals, and when they get scooped up and cuffed and stuff, there won't be a big issue in the streets.
Yeah, many of previous administrations have been criminals, but yeah,
sure, absolutely, I agree. All right, buddy. Well, I think this has been a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, feeling better is one thing, but I mean, definitely give me some stuff to think about. And it's all these things.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm doing all right. Just wanted to get this off my chest because I was a little bugged out when I saw them dragging him out of the embassy.
In closing, our sponsors. We always have to mention our sponsors. ChemicalFreeBody.com/farmer. Punch in farmer in the code for your 5% discount for some of the greatest supplements, cleansing products in the world. Digestive enzymes right there. That's just one of the many great products that they have.
Yep.
And ACI Medicine, Sean Snyder over at ACI Medicine. Go see him in Davenport. ACI Medicine, that dude is a genius also. But hey, man, some of our friends over at like the Tinfoil Hat podcast, Sam Tripoli and the boys over there. Tune into those.
Just guys. Had on Alex Jones the other day.
Higher Side Chats. Go listen to Higher Side Chats. Grimerica. And a good friend of mine, Ken Blanchard, also has a good one out of DC. I forget the name of it offhand, but Ken's a great guy, a very bright guy, and supposed to do a show with his son actually tonight. So anyway,
Oh, cool. Look at you.
that's it. That's it.
All right,
That's
ladies
it
and
for
gentlemen.
me.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll obviously post this on some of our other platforms and stuff, but have a good day. And yeah, sweet. Talk to y'all soon. Sweet.